Sasha Burson is a business owner with a 20-year track record. He is a best-selling co-author with Steve Forbes. Having built and sold businesses in the past, he is now co-managing a marketing company that is awesome in generating demand for whatever services or products their clients sell. In fact, a number of Cultivate clients are their clients, and both advisors and clients rave about the quality of services and results that they deliver. So tune in and learn how to build a better business bigger, faster, and more profitably.
Hey guys, it's so incredibly good to be here. This is my third Catapult event. I am a business owner. I am a Cultivate client. Everything that has to do with small business is incredibly personal to me. And the reason for that is I started my first business 20 years ago, December 2001. And when I started that business, once the excitement wore off, I realized that running a small business is incredibly difficult. First, I was wearing so many different hats. Second, I was working ungodly hours, and I was only getting paid to do one job, and that is to be a business owner. Whatever growing pains you may be going through, chances are I have been there and done that because this is my fourth company. I've built business and sold businesses before. I have also been a consultant for a few years when I helped other businesses grow. And now, a few years back, I bought into a marketing company that's incredibly good at helping generate demand for whatever it is our clients' services that they provide or products that they sell. So I've made it kind of like my life mission to help other businesses grow and flourish because the way that I feel is that better business practically always equates better life. So it is my mission to help other small businesses grow as fast as possible. I don't consult anymore, but my company does help small businesses grow. So everything that I'm going to talk about is going to revolve around this one core idea: how to grow your business bigger, faster, and more profitable. Specifically, I want to focus on one threshold that almost no small businesses reach. In fact, only 1.18% of small businesses reach this threshold. And what is this threshold? It is the threshold of doing $10 million in revenue or more. Why is it so important? What makes this number so significant? Well, at $10 million, you can afford to buy three things in your business that typically you cannot afford when you have a significantly smaller business. Thing number one, it is really hard to afford very expertly people who know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and do it without being told. Number two is when you have that type of personnel, those type of people on your team, they can develop systems and processes for all the repeatable tasks that need to be done, thus optimizing your business and poising it for more growth. And number three, when you hit a $10 million threshold, chances are you're going to have a very significant free cash flow, meaning a lot of profit for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor and for you not to worry as much as you would with a significantly smaller business, like a $1 million business or smaller, or $2 or even $3, $4, $5 million business. The larger it gets, the more stable it becomes, typically. So my focus is to think and show you how you can get your business to grow to $10 million or more and do so consistently. So let's think about it this way. The fundamentals. There are only three ways to consistently grow your business. Here's what they are. Number one is to get more customers. Doesn't get more basic than that. Number two, get customers to spend more when they spend money with you. And number three, get customers to buy more often. Really, that's it. Three known ways to grow your business. If you know a fourth one, please do let me know. But fundamentally, it's these three ways. Now, there is one or two rules, rather, you have to follow in order to get more customers. They are: be where and when they're looking for whatever it is that you're selling. And number two, give them exactly what they want when they're looking for what it is that you're selling, so that they will give you what you want, which is their business. Now, for you to be found whenever it is that they're looking for whatever it is that you're selling, You have to be present in just a couple of places. All of demand for anything that you sell usually can be materialized here in these two places: Google and its subset Google Shopping for e-commerce, and Amazon. Whatever is the product that you're selling, whatever is the service that you're selling, vast majority of demand, vast majority of lookers, seekers, prospects are going to look for it using Google or Amazon. It's the truth of the world today. If you are not up top when they're looking for whatever it is that you're selling, they will find your competition and you will get that business. Or you will not get that business, they will. Now, you may think, Sasha, this is too primitive. Everybody knows this, right? So what? Like, we all know this. But here's the thing: knowledge is not power. Knowledge is just potential for power. Does you knowing convert into actually you doing? If I was to search you up right now, or search up products and or services that you're selling in Google, for example, will your site actually come up in top 5 search results for commonly used keywords when people are looking for something that you're selling? There is an incredibly high probability that the answer is going to be a resounding no. If your company does come up very frequently for most common searches in Google search, you would be incredibly wealthy. Why? Because when you think about any product or service, Google searches in any and every metropolitan area gets thousands of people looking for whatever it is that you sell. There are not enough referrals in the world for you to replicate what Google can deliver. If you're selling a product, there is not enough customer testimonials that can replicate what Google Shopping and Amazon can deliver. These two platforms, Google and Amazon, absolutely dominate demand. If you want to sell more of whatever it is that you're providing, you must consistently be there when they're looking. Yet overwhelming majority of small businesses never show up. There are really 6 things that you need to focus on. Number 1, and this is just a fundamental level of thinking. When it comes to Google and or Amazon and or Google Shopping, you just have to outperform and outsmart your competition. That's all you got to know. This is a very competitive game and you have to do better. You have to hire smart people who are going to help you accomplish big results. Those smart people, their objective must be to outperform, outsmart your competition. You don't have to do it because chances are you do not have internal resources to do it. Most small businesses under $20 million do not have their own marketing departments staffed with really smart people. Think about it this way. When you hire a high performance marketing company like my company, you typically get 5 to 8 people working for you every single month. Working for you, making sure that you do pop up when and where they're looking for whatever it is that you're selling, and that they actually convert from attention into sales qualified leads, people who actually do want to buy from you whatever it is that you're selling. So that's number 1. Like, you have to have the right team in place that's going to outsmart and outperform your competition. Number 2, and this is a little known thing, for you to pop up in Google, in search, is you have to deliver whatever it is that the searchers are actually looking for. The best methodology that we found for your website to pop up high up in search results is they ask, you answer. Let me explain this very simple methodology. Google is a search engine that helps people find information. People ask questions, people look for information. If your website is very comprehensive and answers every single question that people may ask you about what it is that you do, why they should choose to buy from you, about your products, your services, all of those, your website becomes a wealthy resource of information relevant to all of those people who may want to give you money. Here's a quick story that I learned back in 2014, sitting at an inbound conference in Boston back in 2014. Next to me was sitting a gentleman named Bob. Bob was probably in his late 50s, maybe early 60s. Bob was this incredible entrepreneur who told me when I asked him what it is that he does, he said, I am looking for the next big idea. And I asked him, well, what was the last big idea? And Bob told me the last big idea was not a big idea at all. I just kind of fell into it. Bob owned 4 sleep clinics in the state of Alaska. Back in 2008 or 2009, one of his phone reps, and he had 4, came up to him and said, Bob, every day we get the same stupid questions. Like people call us and they ask us the same stupid questions. Why don't we create an FAQ section on our website so when they call us, we tell them to go to the website and look up all the information? So Bob thought to himself, well, it's a really stupid idea to get a prospective customer from talking to you on the phone to the website, because who knows whether they'll convert on the website or not. But it's an interesting idea because if people are asking these questions all the time over the phone, there's a good chance that some people are asking the same questions online. So he comes up with this brilliant idea. He tells his 4 phone reps to keep a little notepad next to their phones, and whenever they get asked a question on the phone, jot it down. So they go through this exercise for 2 weeks, and more questions keep on coming in. So they go through this exercise for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, they realize that they have exhausted the list of questions that are being asked. They ended up with a list of 113 unique questions being asked by prospects. So Bob tells his team, well, we're not going to create an FAQ section with 113 questions and answers. It's just too long. So what we're going to do is for every question that people have asked you, you're going to write up an answer to that question. And they all go like, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to write 113 pages of content. And Bob says, don't worry about it. You don't have to write it all at once. Just write a page a day or so, maybe a couple pages a week. So they agree because they already knew the answers to all of those questions. So every week they would produce a number of pages, and Bob would add those pages to the website. Within a few months, Bob noticed that as he is adding more and more pages to the website, more and more people come to the website. In a couple more months, Bob started noticing that his sales started going up. Long story short, 4 years after they started posting those pages, Bob got a call from a mainland competitor who said, Bob, we want to buy you out. Bob was really surprised. He said, you want to buy my clinics here in Alaska? And they said, we're not interested in the clinics. We want to buy your website. They paid Bob $17 million for the website. Why? Because Bob created a structure that is, they asked, he answered. Because he answered, they came. And his website became this like massive portal for people who had various sleeping disorders. So they would all come to his website to consume information. And for that mainland competitor, that would become a major source of new revenue. So they bought him out. This simple strategy, it's so simple. They ask, you answer. But when you look at your website, chances are your website does not have answers for most frequently asked questions. You got to implement it, and you have to do it right. And to do it right, you have to have the right marketing company that does it for you. Today, in 2021, it's not as easy as simply posting content. God knows there's plenty of content. You have to post content that is properly optimized for search engines. And point number 3 is it has to be properly distributed throughout the ecosystem. And that means your content contextually is distributed to various snippets of your content is distributed to third-party websites. Hundreds of websites, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of websites that have snippets of your content and referring back to your website through backlinks. Backlink means nothing but just a hyperlink that somebody clicks on third-party website that takes them back to your website. The more and the higher quality of those backlinks, the higher your website is going to rank in search when somebody is looking for something that you sell. Speaking of websites, you absolutely must have a high-performance website in order for you to rank up top. And remember, for you to rank up top is the same as attracting a lot of demand for whatever it is that you're selling, so that you can get to the $10 million threshold and have a tremendous team with tremendous processes, with tremendous cash flow, aka profitability. Now, what's a high-performance website? It's literally a few things. It has to be lightning fast. Google gives massive preference to websites that are fast to upload on mobile devices. You can search for Google Insights, find a developer tool, which is like a website of Google, put in your domain address in there and see how fast your website is on mobile devices. Anything that's under 50 is poor performance and your website is not going to rank. All other factors remain kept constant in comparison to your competitors. So if your competitor's website is faster than your website and everything else is the same, your competitor is going to be showing up top. And remember, up top really means the top 5 positions. This is where most of demand actually materializes. Number 2, your website is supposed to deliver a great, unique user experience. What's a great user experience? Well, it's somebody coming to your website, finding what they need, getting more information that they possibly looked for, because Google really cares about these 2 things, right? How good is your content and how much they're going to interact with your content. Meaning, somebody searches for something, they come to your website and they spend on average 3 minutes and 17 seconds on your site. Somebody searches for something similar or the same, they go to your competitor's website and they spend 2 minutes and 4 seconds on their website. Your website is going to rank higher for the same search as your competitors because you provide more relevant information as measured in the average dwell time. This is what Google calls it. Dwell time, meaning the amount of time that they actually spend on your website. Incredibly important. How do you keep visitors on your website longer? 1, by providing them relevant information. 2, by having plenty of relevant information. The more pages they visit, the better, because it shows you, Google, that you have a lot of relevant information for them. How do you do that? You have a marketing company that knows what they're doing, cross-link content within your site, meaning one page, one piece of content, contextual leads to another, to another, to another. When you create those types of contextual interlinks, it will show to Google that you have a lot of relevant information. And in turn, Google will prop up your website in search. Incredibly important. I cannot stress this enough. It's incredibly important to do all of these things, not one thing or the other, because for you to rank up top, all of these things have to be done because you have to outperform your competition. All of these things must be done. Next, for your website to have all of that relevant content that links to one and another and another and another, you have to implement the following structure. It's called pillar cluster content structure. How do you come up with that? Well, it comes from the ask you answer. First, and this is the exercise that all of our customers go through, we ask them to jot down a list of 50 questions that they typically hear from their prospective customers and from their existing customers. Why 50 and not less? Because if you're a subject matter expert who interacts with customers and have been interacting with your customers for at least a couple of years, you know those 50 questions by heart. Like if you sit down, most of you will be able to write up a list of 50 questions or more in under 1 hour. We need that list of questions because this creates our content strategy based on the ask you answer methodology. Next, amongst those questions, some of those questions are going to lead to incredibly comprehensive answers. Like it is so general yet so profound, the question, right, that a subject matter expert, someone on your team, possibly you, can answer that question, and that answer may take 20, 30, 40 minutes, right? Because you will touch on so many subtopics. Why is this important? Because when we're seeing one of those pillar type of questions with very long answer, we create content that is very, very long for your website. It could be 3, 4, 5,000 words long. That content is the pillar for all other content. That content probably has 15, 20, 25 subtopics. Each one of those subtopics could be a bullet point. From those bullet points, we're going to create cluster topics. And those cluster topics are much shorter pieces of content, 500 to 1,000 words, and they answer smaller questions, those questions that you could answer in 2 to 5 minutes. Next, what we do is we connect all of these cluster topics, let's say there are 20 of them, to the pillar content. So we're creating those interlinks between all of this content. And then contextually, we interconnect all of these 20 pieces of content with each other. Whenever somebody is looking for an answer to any one of those 20 questions or 21 questions, or however many questions are being answered in that content, Your website is more likely to come up on top in the search results because you have answered all of those questions. And next, when people will visit one post, they will see contextual links within that post that lead to more information that they should know because they want to become an educated buyer before making the buying decision. All very, very simple, but most companies, including marketing companies, fail to do this. When they fail to do this, they pretty much assure that your website is not going to rank very, very highly. The Spiller cluster content structure is incredibly powerful and must be implemented. The last but not least, and I spoke about this before, but I will repeat it again. You must never trust amateurs with your company's growth, aka marketing. You must be very selective when it comes to selecting a marketing company for you. You must assure that the company that you hire is going to be the one that actually knows what they're doing, can set up the right targets for your growth, not just say we're going to do all this work, but actually look and say, like, where are you today? 2.5 million? Where do you want to be a year from now? 4 million? Let's see if we can develop a feasible plan to get you from 2.5 million to 4 million in the next 12 months. Here is what we're going to focus on. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to measure our performance on monthly basis. Here's how we're going to report our performance on monthly basis because they have to be accountable to you on monthly basis. Here are the two primary factors that we're going to measure our performance on, which is the number of sales opportunities were delivered to you and an average cost per sales opportunity delivered. And all of those things, right? Incredibly important to not hire amateurs or people who are not focused on growing your business, because that's what a marketing company is supposed to do. At least a high-performance marketing company. Next, how do you get customers to spend more? Now we're switching from how to get more customers is how to get them to spend more. Well, you have to have a line of products or services that are complementary to each other so that you could sell more than one item or one service to these people. Incredibly important. If your business model currently does not allow for that, look for opportunities that would be cross-sells or upsells. It is incredibly important because if all you can sell is one service or one item to them and there is no continuity, your business will be poorer. So look for ideas, look for opportunities how to sell them more. Practically very self-explanatory. Next, how to get more or how to get customers to buy more often. Well, most businesses acquire a customer to make a sale. What you should be doing is acquire or make a sale in order to make a customer. Think about a customer journey that you want them to have with you. Think about the next step after they buy, and the next step after they buy, and the next step after they buy. How will you continue communicating with them after the first purchase, after the second purchase, after the third purchase? You must be front and center in front of them throughout the year, not once a month with a holiday card, not with an occasional email, not with an occasional call, God forbid, when you want to sell them something. You have to be their guide. You have to be their resource for whatever information that may be relevant to them. And you have to be there for them 12 months a year, better yet, every week of the year. It's incredibly important for you to do this because this will assure continuity of your relationship with your customers. And as your relationship continues, you will be able to drum up more and more and more sales. So incredibly important. Let me skip this. Now, this is the slide that I was going to, and I forgot to switch the slides. This is everything I'm talking about. Like, get in the habit of communicating with them regularly, at least once a week. Offer a loyalty program if it's applicable. I know it's not applicable to every business, but if you can think of how to implement the loyalty program, do it. And last but not least, run seasonal and regular promotions if your business, if your product or service actually lands to it. If you do all of those things that I have just described, the probability of you hitting $10 million in revenue and more will be incredibly high. If you don't do one of these things, the probability of you hitting $10 million in revenue is going to be greatly diminished. It's not going to be zero, but remember, only 1.18% of all small businesses hit $10 million in revenue. Do you want to be in the 99% who don't? Or do you want to be in that 1% that does? I sure hope that you started your business because you're an ambitious person and you do want to grow business to the point where you're going to reach financial independence, because financial independence just feels so good. So it's a worthy pursuit. Now, last but not least, remember what I said, knowledge is not power. It's just potential for power. There's plenty of evidence. Most of us know what to do. We just don't do it. Most of us know what to do to be healthier. Most of us just don't do it. Most of us know what to do, what to do to be wealthier. Most of us just don't do it. Do not let this go the same route. Make sure that you actually implement the knowledge that you just received, or better yet, find the right partner who is going to be there with you and will help you implement all of those things, aka a high performance company such as mine, Comrade Digital. I'm not here to promote myself, but if you think about it, and we've been serving Cultivate customers for a while now, we have plenty of raving reviews from Cultivate Advisors clients and from Cultivate advisors who praise us because we do such great work for their clients. But whether you hire Comrade or another company, I beg of you to actually not just waste this knowledge that you've received and actually move forward. Here's what I'm offering you. Email me, call me, get this checklist of like 6 practical tactics to grow your business. My email is super simple. It's Sasha, S-A-S-H-A, at comradeweb.com. Again, Sasha at comradeweb.com. Or call me direct, 847-877-7568. 847-877-7568. Why am I giving my number and my email address? Because I take all of this incredibly personally. My mission is to help other small business owners just like myself to grow their businesses to at least $10 million. Reach out to me. I will send you this checklist. Go through the checklist. Attached to the checklist is a form that we call FEP, Fast, Easy, Profitable. Select the things that you're going to start working on as soon as possible based on what's fast and easy and profitable for you. Talk to us. We can help you develop a blueprint, how to grow your business, and just get things moving. Don't waste a day. Get things moving. Reach out to me. Get things going. Get the checklist. Get the ball rolling so that you can actually grow your business faster, bigger, and more profitable. I think we still have a couple of minutes for Q&A, so I'm here for you. Ask away, and I'll try to answer every question for the little time that I have left. Thanks.